Hello and welcome everyone to our ABAP on HANA come S4HANA course on Eclipse with CDS and AMDP. So this will be a demo session of this live training where we are going to cover an end-to-end course on ABAP on HANA come S4HANA. So first of all, thank you very much for joining this demo session. And in this demo session, we will see some basic and practical implementation topics of ABAP on HANA so that you can understand how am I going to teach in this particular course. So first of all, we need to understand what is HANA and why HANA. So what is HANA? Very important concept because HANA is not only a database, it consists of lots of features. So what is HANA? HANA stands for High Performance Analytical Appliance. High Performance Analytical Appliance. What is HANA? HANA is an SAP's in-memory database. SAP's in-memory database. What do I mean by in-memory? In-memory simply means an in-memory database or you can call it IMDB, in-memory database, is a database that stores the data into the computer's main memory. What do I mean by main memory here? Which is RAM, random access memory, instead of the hard disk, which we usually see in case of our traditional databases. So what is HANA? HANA is an SAP's in-memory database which stores the data into the computer's main memory instead of hard disk. That's why it is so important. So if we talk about HANA is the fastest database. If we talk about the real-time data processing, that's why HANA is so popular and that's why it is highly in demand, right? So whenever we talk about ABAP on HANA system, what is our primary goal? Our primary goal always becomes to push down our code incentive logic into the HANA so that we can utilize the full potential of HANA-DB. So whenever we talk about the HANA system, our primary goal always becomes to push down our code incentive logic into the HANA so that we can directly utilize the full potential of HANA-DB. What do I mean by that? So if you talk about earlier, before the S4HANA system, what we used to do is we used to bring the data from the database layer to the application layer, which was also known as data to code paradigm. We were bringing the data from application database layer to the application layer, and there we used to store it into the internal tables, and then we used to perform our operations. But so this was a very costly operation. resulting into the low performance of the SAP system. But now with HANA coming into the picture, our goal has completely changed. To utilize the database layer effectively. So here what we will be doing, basically we will be simply sending the inputs from the users to the DB layer itself, and we will be executing our code incentive logic directly on the HANA layer, which is now called code to data paradigm. So with HANA coming into the picture, lots of things have changed. Our goal is completely changed. Now our main focus is to go for code to data paradigm. We are sending our code directly to the data instead of sending data to code. So our data is also there. Now since the data is also there on the database layer, so by default the system performance will be high. By default the system performance will be high, right? So for this code to data paradigm, but before that let's see what is we are going to cover in this course. So in this course we will start with our HANA basics in detail, and we will go for end to end. So for this HANA basics we are going to cover lots of things like its in-memory computing engine, hardware and software innovation, row versus column store, then evolution of HANA with SAP solution. We will also break down of our SAP HANA database architecture. Then we will describe our index server, and also we will see how the system design works. Session 2, in the session 2 we are going to simply cover our server access and ADT, which things we are going to cover. Then we will also move on, which will be my session 3. In the session 3 will completely focus on the new ABAP syntax, basically 7.4 and 7.5 syntaxes. We are going to use our traditional old syntaxes have completely obsolete, so we will now completely focus on our new syntaxes. Then the next one will be the database. So there we will see our HANA box, and we will see how we are going to implement each and everything there easily, right? This is what we are going to share. Then we will continue and we will see some performance guideline there also. We are simply going to focus on some performance guidelines. We will see a OIA scenario, basically open item analysis. I will take a standard requirement based on OIA, and using that we are going to cover lots of things. Our data modeling, types of views like attribute, analytical. We will see why these two views have been obsolete and which one is simply being used. Then we'll perform some operation on our calculation view, followed by execution of our data models. Then we will see some important concepts like ADBC, and we will move on to our data modeling part where we will start core data services. We will see their CDS views and CDS entities. Then after that we will move on to our SQL script, which is the main programming language written in between our AMDP methods. So there we are going to cover that. We will also learn how to do the SQL script programming directly on the HANA layer. Okay, followed by, once it will be done, we will cover up our AMDPs, and also we will see some more features of our CDS views, because CDS are the most important things, and CDS is the language which is the future, and its demand is very high in the current market, right? Then we will move on and we will build some of the wonderful application of Fury app by using our CDS, and we will move on to our embedded analytics. Then we will connect our AMDP and CDS together via CDS table functions, and we will simply go to these things and we will build an end-to-end application using that. At last, we will cover our ALB IDA, which is a new way of ALB. So this is going to be your entire course content. I have written everything by my own hand. I will share all these documents in detail with you and hope you are going to simply enjoy that. Let me just show you. So I have simply written lots of documents and I'm going to simply share with you an end-to-end documents in detail. Now, so we were discussing about HANA. Now, for this code to data paradigm, there are two important concepts which are highly popular. So, based on code to data paradigm, two concepts are highly popular. Let me just show it to you. Based on, so one is CDS and another is AMDP. Very important things. So if I talk about what is CDS, so let's understand this concept. CDS stands for core data services. CDS stands for core data services, right? CDS stands for core data services. And then if we see this part in detail, what we will see here is that when we create a CDS view, then a corresponding DDIC view or DDIC view usually generates, which we can simply see from our SE11 transaction code directly. Transaction code. So to resolve this problem, what SAP did, SAP made this CDS view as obsolete, and they came with a brand new concept, they came with this brand new concept, which is now we call the CDS entities. Very important concept. So what are CDS entities? So CDS entities are nothing but CDS entities are the advanced version of the CDS views. Okay, and when we will activate the CDS entity, a corresponding HANA view is now generated. HANA view is generated instead of the DDIC view. So here a HANA view is generated with the same name of the CDS entity. Same stuff we see with the same name of this CDS entity which is generated. So let's create one CDS for us. I'll simply go to my SAP system. Now one more important stuff for this course. Our entire course will completely be only on the ADT tool on Eclipse. We are not going to go for GUI from our SAP system. We will only focus on Eclipse. We will use Eclipse for everything. As a developer, so our focus will be completely on Eclipse. Let me just show you. I'm opening Eclipse, and using this Eclipse I will create my new CDS. So I'll go for new data definition, so other ABAP object repository. I'll scroll it down. So I will scroll it down here. Core data services. I'll go for this data definition. Z first CDS entity, CDS. I'll go for next. I'll select my transport request and I'll go for next. Then here I'll select my entity and I'll go for finish. This is going to be my CDS view. And you can by default see there is no DDIC view, which has been obsolete already, right? We can see there is no DDIC view here. They all have been obsolete, and what SAP has done, they have simply removed this concept. So there is no need of all these things from now on, right? There is no need of all these things. So we will see our CDS view and we are going to simply implement it. So what I will do is I will create here my entity and let's apply some joins here. So this is my CDS entity and I will go for parameters. So with parameters, and for example I'm going to take one table. So let me just show you the tables again. So I'm going to take the VBAK table, sales header. So VBAK table. For this VBAK, we have got the primary key VBELN. So I'm going to use this one. So parameters P Veblen is equal to its data element. So VBELN underscore VA. Then I will go for add select from, and here I will go for my VBAK table. So VBAK table. Then I will perform inner join on VBAP, inner join from VBAP, which is the item table, on VBAK dot Veblen is equal to VBAP dot Veblen. Perfect. Then I'm going to simply select a few columns here. So I'll mark one primary key VBAK dot Veblen. Then I will go for other one. So VBAK dot ERDAT. Few columns I'm simply selecting ERZDT, VBAK ERNUM, VBAK VBTYP, and I will select few fields from my VBAP also. So VBAP dot Posner and VBAP dot Matner. Okay. After that, we need to pass our where condition. So where my VBAK dot VBELN is equal to dollar parameters dot Veblen P Veblen. Okay. Okay. So let's activate it and let's see that. Yeah, activation finished. I will go for run as, and I will go for ABAP application. I will pass inputs here. 3689. Okay, let's check. Is it returning in data or not? Yes, we are getting the records. So this is a corresponding CDS entity that we have created. We have created this corresponding CDS entity. So I hope you have enjoyed this demo session. This was how HANA comes into the picture. This is what we are developing, a data model directly on the HANA layer. This Eclipse is what which is connected with the HANA directly, and we are able to execute this model directly on the HANA layer itself. So this is going to be your course content, which we are going to cover here, where it is, which we are going to cover here. And I'm completely sure you will definitely love and enjoy this session. So thank you very much for watching the demo session. Okay, we will meet again.